Good
Five,
morning, everyone.
four, 3, 2, 1, you're live.
Good morning, everyone. You're listening to Trace Elements, and I'm getting an echo. Oh, no, we're good. We're good now. Hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. I'm kind of excited about our topic for the next couple weeks. I think it's going to take me a while. We are going to decode the matrix. I realize I don't have that much to talk about in general, but the things I talk about can go on forever. So it's the same thing that I talk about all the time. So, the code to the matrix. I've noticed, and we've talked about this, the play on words that has been used against us for so long. And I want to do a shout out, like I do with most of my shows, to all the sentient beings of the cosmos, so they too may see the path to ascend Zion. Ascension, also a different word. We could look at this today as foreword. F-O-R-E-W-O-R-D. Forward, F-O-R-W-A-R-D. Forward. English has a certain amount of frequency to it. I've talked before that it doesn't have power, but it does have power. It has power that is so insidious. That's why there's so many words that are spelt the same and sound the same. They do this for a reason. The race was not given to the quick or the swift, but to one who would endure till the end. Then we found out there was no end. The unwary soul who fails to grapple with the mocking demons of illusion will return to the earth as a slave to illusion. To become a true master of fate, you must first become a knower of yourself. In a time not too distant, I think, to consider, we as humans, splitting from the single source, entered duality, spiraling away from the Creator. Some spun in the direction of 6, while others spun in the opposite direction of 9. This is called the spiral force. These two forms contain opposites, complete opposites. However, it is with their union something new can be born. This is the sequence of life. Our solar system houses various binary or dual worlds, and Earth is called First Tiamat, is one of them. Once entering this realm, the spirit began to develop its very narrow definition of things, as in most cases, besides twins, they are lacking their opposite side. In extinction, we create a stand-in. Some call it the ego, and the ego is wholly constructed of astral energy, in which we create and breathe life into it every day, feeding it, if you will. At times, not knowing power, we birth a monster, which we love and we care for, since after all, it is part of us. It is kind of our baby. At some point in incantations or loops, I think one realizes that we must begin the quest of taming that monster, that demon, if you like. The demon is inside us, not outside of us. That is the one we need to look to first. They realize they must flip it over and ride it, basically, all of us. At that moment, they also see how strong it has become, as it is stuck in its ways, rigid in form, brutish and ineloquent in that condition, we can take it nowhere, just as you never take a street dog into a royal party. The work before us, then, was to take this rough-cut stone to form it into a chariot of fire that could propel us through the center of the universe. Universe. It is there that we will meet our other half in this realm. It is the meaning of life, to help us through this whole process in all of its components. The Most High, the Infinite All, developed a system based on energies of the entire universe, seeing that humans are just smaller composites of these celestial spheres. It has become possible for one to know how to guide the particular life in the direction that would equal the greatest amount of potential for their unique design. In each person lies a pearl of the highest potential. If developed, it is a treasure to all existence, visible and invisible. This wonderful metamorphosis was and is possible of human creation. However, as you will see in some parts of nature, not every creation has been given this ability. Thus arose a challenge from the lower forms of life, of consciousness that manifests as jealousy, and thus spirituality and religion were created. And these are the limits. Once again, at the close of this time segment, the masses will have an opportunity to discover their true form, which is not a word, and becomes far before thought. It is the highest, if you only knew. We will be continuing these thoughts, this story, probably for the next couple weeks. I will do it on our Monday and Friday shows that will just be aired on TurtleIslandNews.info and Wolf Spirit Radio. Everyone else will just have to come and join us if they want to hear the story. The story's going to be involved. It's going to be long, but it's the same story that I've told you so often and so many of us are telling you. You know, I recall when I first began my personal spiritual journey, there was no one who really spoke that language well, other than my father, my grandmother. There was no YouTube with its virtual archive of spiritual information because there was no internet for me anyway. It was a time of materialistic expansion only, when New Age was just another oxymoron, which is interesting in itself, that word, oxymoron. And thank heaven for the library. For those of you who don't know what that is, that was a place where you could go and find actual books with like paper and everything. At first it was just a couple of books at a time, but before long my hunger seemed to double no matter how many books I read, because there's so much to learn on a myriad of diverse yet connected subjects. And it was all right there in books, well, most of it anyway. There's always homework. So here we are, 2014, age of Aquarius and enlightenment. Now, of course, the library is at our fingertips with computers bringing the internet almost instantly from all over the world. Not only are there thousands of new books on spirituality these days, there are also no shortage of authors and others who travel from city to city speaking on speaking engagements to teach in person the wisdom of the ages. There's also online courses, live courses from all over the world, all kinds of different teaching. I guess this is just owning. I'm sure to the age of Aquarius, the end of the mind's calendar, which many of them are happening simultaneously, there's understandably a great interest in more advanced concepts involved in our collective evolution, if you want to call it that. And whether the subject is astrology, Anasazi, or as in Zion, there seems now to be, well, not a shortage of information, but actually a surplus. And many of it contradicts each other. Maybe we're all overthinking this whole thing. We hear and read about Asen Zion into 5D or fifth dimensional resonance vibration based almost entirely upon what someone else said or wrote. Where do they come by this information they convey to others? From what source did such insights originate? Take everything that was ever said or written about ascension into 5D, then filter out every last nuance of human ego and desire, and then see what you have left. Whether this Ascend Zion information that survives, will it survive the ego and desire purge? Can there be assumed to be more pristine, less convoluted state? But how accurate is any of the information? Does this refined input present us with a realistic, accurate picture of what ascension process will look like and feel like to those who are actually experiencing it right now, right here? And would we even recognize it for what it was when it happened? That it makes me wonder. All of the ancient mystery books, the gurus, the messiahs teach us that all of our answers lie within ourselves. Then of course they're killed. But they do say that we really don't need anything from without, non-existent, to teach or complete us. They are forthright. The Fourth Reich, are they? And, I've always questioned these things, but I believe there are pearls of wisdom in everything. And it is at the very core of my belief system. I consider all of the outside input from books, teachers, etc., not so much to be supplying answers as essentially being training wheels we need in order to know what really important questions to ask ourselves in the first place. So thank heaven that we speak to each other so we can dissect what is true, what is not, what is here, what is now. Even though that may be impossible, since I believe they've had time for travel for so long, it's why many of us don't remember certain parts of our life. A lot of people say, if you remember the 60s, you weren't in it. Well, I believe you were in it. I think some of the 60s were wiped out, like they didn't happen. So do we, as individual human beings, not change and grow as we move through this sojourn, this sad journey called life? Of course we do. And as we change, as we evolve from infancy to childhood to adolescence and to what passes for maturity, another 4, of course, our beliefs and our experiences, they're calling it the unified quantum field these days, but arose by any other name. So let's endeavor to avoid getting caught in the quicksand, in the mire of semantics. Call it whatever you like, as you come to understand that we are inevitably tied and connected to this unified quantum field. We are part of it. It is part of us. And it's where we get the phrase, be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for. For, again. If you really want to have a lot of fun today, count how many words have for in it. How many times is for said? For. 4 nails on a cross. 4 legs at a table. 4 letters in the Hebrew word of God. 4 is brought a lot forth lately, is it not? It takes us humans a good long time while we actually see all this playing out during the course of our lives. Sooner or later we begin to notice all the time something we just spoke of or secretly wanted just manifested out of thin air as if the university had been eavesdropping. Well, it was. This is how creation teaches us to create or create. Eat, feast, kill. What we want, who we are, is wrapped in the words, us English speakers, but it's wrapped in the words of many cultures. But something else patiently, gradually shows us how powerful our words and the thoughts behind them truly are, the good ones and the bad ones, even if they're unintentional, because we are all taking part in this grand experiment to see if consciousness can overcome the illusion of separateness. We don't remember coming from love or being in unity. That's why the experiment. But we are all parts of the infinite all. You, me, every sentient being is part of that thing. Can we stop and love ourselves for a minute? If we stop and love ourselves, will everything feel loved? How could it not? We are either part of all or we are not. It can't be both ways. It can't be yes or no. It must be yes. The answer must be yes. And we must find our own ways back. Home, if you like. Remember, then yearn for the feeling of one, the unity, the peace that you are of the everything. Although we may not remember coming here from there to this place, this time, we still have that unspecified emptiness inside us that is homesick, nevertheless, for something we each search for our entire lives. Okay, so we are all here doing everything we have learned to do to obtain enlightenment, to rise above the petty, mundane illusion of separation. We stand here, but even our words contradict us along the way, with varying levels of success, of course, as well as the occasional setback. Along the way, I wonder if maybe we haven't gotten distracted by all the sensory, emotional, used to give forth. Chanel is to stop. This overload from these times we are living in now. Does the global upheaval relate in any way to our spiritual effort to transcend it, or the words that we use that contradict everything we're trying to do? Hasn't the world and our physical environment, and an ancient word, of course, which we will go into, has been steadily changing, keeping pace with our collective spiritual evolution? Yes, that's the answer to the question. We have no idea what we don't know. No. No. Even knowing says no. The spell is intense. And most people on this planet speak English now. Or one of the derivatives. German, Roman, Latin. These words are used against us, and we say them as we effort, to increase our vibration towards the threshold of enlightenment in order to transcend this dreadful place. Doesn't it make a certain kind of sense that if we're going to away from that, Gaia herself will transcend to another state of being, perhaps in accordance to her own destiny? How many are out there doing these things, building these things, and not asking her what she wants? Are we not part of her and part of the universe? Does she not have a will? Are we wrong for not asking? If so, then maybe, just maybe, there are evolutions other than mankind going through simultaneously right now that we have absolutely no clue about. What if Gaia herself destroyed Fukushima with an earthquake tsunami combination punch because she needs a massive infusion of nuclear radiation to facilitate her own evolutionary shift? If so, why would we for a nanosecond think Gaia would be any more considerate or thoughtful of us than we have been to her? As George Carlin put it best, I think, we're on the surface, the mister, the master, nuisance, new science, seance, spelling. We open our eyes and we think we're seeing the whole world out there. But what has become infinitely clear, and really just in the last few centuries that they will tell us about, is that when you look at the electromagnetic spectrum, we are seeing less than 10 billionth of the information riding out there. Our eyes are not the window to our soul or anything else. Our eyes send in data that is upside down and needs to be translated. So if we see only with our eyes, we are seeing nothing. What we call visible light. Will be interesting. But everything else passing through our bodies is completely invisible to us, although we feel it, and it may be the more evolved senses that we're using, even though we accept that the reality that's present presented to us, we're really only seeing a little tiny widow of what's happening. Perhaps despite the horrendous way we've treated her, Gaia holds all humanity in unconditional love and is sacrificing herself as a way to urgently encourage us to quit mucking around and go home together in unity. If we are part of her, and she is part of the infinite all, what happens to her happens to us. What happens to everything sentient happens to us. All we do happens to everything else. Suppose with me, just for a minute, that in her infinite wisdom, our Earth Mother understood that some of us would refuse to evolve, just as long as this decadent playground of will still existed. This word play, this foreword that we are entrapped in, entranced. maybe for reasons that we're all too young to understand, there's some reason that we must all migrate back home together. There are many religions out there, ways of belief, that believe none of us can transcend unless all of us do. Not just the humans, all sentient beings. And that's everything you're around on. It's the chair you sit on with the 4 legs that you have put in a cube and trapped. Realize how many of us work in cubicles, how many of us are trapped because of them. What if it's that? What if no one can transcend until all of us transcend? And we must do it together in a massive soul migration together. And Gaia knows that the only way for us to get out is to burn the house down. Suppose that is what Fukushima is all about. And I will go into several things that Fukushima is all about, as I have, but I'm going to take it in a different migration. Doesn't every mother sooner or later have to boot their kids out into the harsh reality of life to make their own way, that we cannot protect our kids forever? Eventually they will get hurt, and they will sink or swim as to each of their own. We do not see things as they are. We see them as we are. That is a spell from the Talmud. And it is true for most living here. We try to love, and we suffer. We get hurt, we get broken. We know on a very basic level that the worst thing that can be done to us, the very worst, is not the violence. It isn't. It's not the pain. It is not the constant barrage of thing after thing after thing. It is being ignored. Without connection, all sentient beings, every animal, every plant, every human, dies. It is the worst killer we know. It is the quickest killer we know. We have not been here in this one place for the entirety of this present incarnation. We'll talk about nations too. And hasn't the scenery, the scene, the image, the imagined, the film, the environment here changed and rearranged itself to accommodate our individual and group consensus picture of reality? We might not extrapolate that it will continue to do so in the same way as we increase our individual frequency vibration, our words that have power, our movement which has consciousness. That which we call change is merely unified quantum field mirroring back to us as we construct, con and struct means completely different. We create our thoughts, beliefs, intents, and our words with our words. By word alone we create. When we reach the upper range of this, again, 4th dimensional octave, then transit to the next one. We don't go anywhere. We've been here all along. We are not lost. We cannot be lost. It's impossible. We are stuck in the illusion of separation. Stuck. That which goes away isn't our soul, isn't our spirit, but rather the slow, muddy resonance vibration. As it morphs into the lower end of the new octave of resonance, everything previous breaks up from the frequency. The incapability and ceases to exist. Incapable, incompatible. Kind of like a snake shedding its skin. How many S's have I used? Do you know what an S is? Will we outgrow the old and leave it behind us? When you dream at night, you experience a wide variety of things in endless number of environments, and sometimes it seems as real as real life. Yet in the morning, you're not in the same bed, still in the same house as when you laid down the night before. What if evolution and enlightenment are like that as well? Everything happens in the exact same place, just as different dominating patterns. Most of them end with an S, like putting up a new wallpaper over the old. Maybe it really is holographic after all, and we're all just walking each other home. The secret is out of here is simply to increase spiritual vibration gradually, level by level. There exists many ways to do this. Find one that resonates with you. Make it part of your daily life. Do your own homework as our understanding increases. Eventually learn, remember, that as we evolve towards enlightenment, consciousness, we also change the environment around us to match. How many snakes have I just let loose with this? Even through every sovereign spirit must this spiritual, energetic sojourn alone. In a very real sense, we're already walking each other home. How many S's? How many times? All of these things that are used against us, and they are used against us. Even our own words cast a spell, grammar, grimoire, death, moire, noir. All of these things that we just use as if they mean nothing, mean quite a bit. I'm going to play a little music, take a break. You're listening to Turtle Island News with Tracey Kennedy. Welcome back, everyone. Now, I've given a lot of thought to this and how I was going to present it. Everything in life moves and wants to flow. I'm thinking there is a great realignment going on. It's what inspires the actions emanating from the core. Realignment for all life in all the cosmos. Other words, unraveling density and allowing the divine to take over. Now it is time to embrace this driving force. There's a 4 and a snake, because a great realignment is gathering strength here on earth. We will go through these weeks and I will tell you why I'm upset about the 4s and the cube and the S's used so much in our language. But being a catalyst, I'm constantly feeling the unwinding effect of the universe arising through me. It's the energy that is drawn into this harmony of life, works to unravel it and unleash the elements of consciousness, thus facilitating a realignment of energy so that something new, perhaps more harmonious, can take shape as it slithers up our spine. Slightly reluctantly, it's what drew me here, I think. Never felt that effect more strongly than I'm feeling it right now. Society is like a dam in the universal flow. Dam. And where that resistance to the natural harmony of life is strong, then by default you draw the strongest realignment energy. This is physics. Lots of people are calling themselves awake now, but they sleep from their tired eyes and felt the wonders of this interconnectivity. It's a step, but with the words we use, we create. And what are we creating? As yet, not so many are actually walking any path. And if you are given 2 paths to go, or you stand at the crossroads where there are the 4, take an alternative path, or leave. If they give you 2 choices, walk straight down the middle. Take neither of them. That is not a choice. It's a choice between death by exile or death by gun. It's still death. I've heard some leaders creating wonderful visions of utopia, particularly all the resource-based ones, where the resources of the earth are equally shared amongst all humans. It's one where so-called free energy is used cleanly, quote-unquote, to support the world's population. None are in hunger and need. Advanced technology is also quoted often as a mechanism for building this new world. In terms of getting there, I don't believe them. I don't think they've ever built anything for us to live in. I don't think any side is the better side to pick. I don't think any side is the one that is going to do us good. So speaking of mirrors, I think this is an excellent metaphor for what is going on in the world right now. Let's just look at Fukushima. I'm sure you've wondered why news about the plant is eerily sparse. If you look on my page, on my Facebook page, you could see, well, there are resources out there. And I was told on the weekend that some new guru, sage, wise man said, no, it's mysteriously being taken away by the angels or the fairies or the unicorns. No, it's not. Sorry. It's not. Recently, the Russian Federation has raised a report about Fukushima to its highest classification, meaning that if the truth was released, it could damage the foundation of the Federation itself. America and most other places, according to insiders, the mainstream media are being instructed to be quiet, silent. What's going on? Many things. And it's affecting the entire planet. Synchronistic significance cannot be overstated. We need to pay attention. We need to open our hearts. We should not pay anything anymore. And realize what global events have kicked into play. Again, one hell of a mirror. L. Ancient God. I've considered this great realignment that is gathering strength here on this planet. If you look past through the history that we have, even though there are some significantly empty eras, as things are rewritten, or perhaps gone back in time and changed. If you look at it with inquiry, questioning, you'll see that whatever situation gets out of balance with the natural harmony of life, then life finds a way of leveling the playing field once more. The more out of alignment, the stronger the corrective energies you build, we build. Just as nuclear chain reaction, it's simple physics here. God has spoken to us in no uncertain terms. Foundation stones upon which society is founded, like the production and consumption of energy, for example, is utterly disharmonious, as to be unthinkable to any truly sentient being. Einstein himself is quoted as saying nuclear power is one hell of a way to boil water. Yeah, hell. Fukushima. There's a whole bunch of ancient words in that word, by the way. Is one hell of a mirror. Believe history will look back and either way record it as an activation switch that signaled the commencement of a cleansing process, which will ultimately sweep imbalance on the earth. Such are the powers and the energies that are now unleashed. The snake has left the garden officially. I spread this to you because we've been lied to. You cannot propagate fear, ear, with an F, another 4, where it does not already exist. So if fear arises in you as you listen to me, then it's a powerful invitation to work to unravel those fears, and therefore consider it a catalyst for you, your evolution, your ascend, Zion. Every now and then, a major global event signals possible and powerful messages to us all, like the sinking of Titanic by an iceberg or a bomb, depending on who you listen to, in the early days of industrial revolution, evolution, revolve, turn, spin. Such coincidences, a pretty synchronistic mother tongue of the universe, or of the controllers that have taken over our lives, perhaps the life of every sentient being in this cosmos. When it struck in March 2011, and yes, going on 3 years now, it did so at exactly the time 5 Gateways was released. Very synchronous kind of film, by the way. From a mirroring point of view, the timing was perfect. The 5 Gateways marks a journey of ascension. Ascend Zion. We ascend as they want, because I don't think ascension is anything we should even consider doing. We should no longer play in their playground, because their playground is filth. And in the next couple days, I will be hitting all of those sacred cows. We need to look in, because your heart is truly yours, believe it or not. We need to look in and stop looking out. If we do not, we will go the way of the dinosaurs and perhaps the billions of species that came and didn't make it. There are stargates all over this planet. It's a place on Earth that is shamanistic transportation device. Transportation portal to all the other worlds, all the energies, pulsing, ringing from our Sar, from everything else, from all over. We need to see the game that's being played with us. And of course, you can go to turtleislandnews.info and see all the news for today. The new snake, the new serpent, the new S, the 6, how many words is there an S in? Too many. Too many words. Too many things are being used against us right now. In completely disgusting ways. The disgustingness of this language, of the words that were used against us, as the words we are taught to use. It's why, again, so many words are repeated. Sorry guys, here come the cops. So many things have been used against us, purposely, so we would use their words, their language. Here, let me play some music. It looks like there's a heck of a fire going on out there. Oh no, they stopped. Maybe I was using their magic words too often, or using them in a wrong way because I was telling you what they mean. And what they mean is filth. Don't think it isn't. And most of us have been used against us. We argue about who's to blame. We've talked about it very much. Who's to blame? Who's behind it? But if a man is beating you with a stick, would you blame the stick? Or you can go the way of the karma of my peoples. If they use a black man against another black man, and the controller behind him, what man do you blame? The man with the stick, or the man behind him? What about the man behind him who gave them this land, these lands that they... What about the kings and queens behind them? What about whatever is behind them? So it's not easy pointing the finger. We all are paying for it now, of course, as we look around this planet and seeing that it's payday. Payday. Pay attention. This time, and again, the money situation, the greed, is all around us. We are paying for sins, for missing the mark. That is what a sin is. It has nothing to do with religion. It is an archery term. It means that you have missed the bullseye. We have missed the bullseye. And we use that word in and two S's. It's a very powerful word in the way we use it. It means we are trapped on either side by two snakes instead of just one. How many 911s, emergencies, do we have to signal and see before we realize that the game that we've been playing was never made for us? Not once, not ever. So we will continue this topic for the next couple weeks. And we will go to Never Never Land, if you like. I will present things in a way that I have not presented things before. And I hope you enjoy it. So we're going to take another little break. I'm going to get a coffee. So if you want to get up and stretch your legs, this is the time. And we'll come back with a meditation, and we're going to deal with looking inside, because I think it's our only way internally, with no S. I'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. You're listening to Trace Elements. Now, this is a topic we are going to be continuing Foreword. Forewords. For quite a while, we're going to talk about and try to dismember this cube that we're stuck in. Thinking about the place I moved into. You know, I've been having some vivid dreams lately. They told me last night that I did very well picking the place that I lived in, and I did it unconsciously. You know, the majority of rooms have 4 walls that we live in. We're stuck in a cube often, and I will be going in depth in the next couple weeks with this. We're stuck there for a reason in these 4s, in these numbers. But my bedroom has 5 corners. My living room has 5 corners. My building has 7 corners. I've surrounded myself with numbers divisible by 1 and itself only. It's power in that. And when we talk about in the weeks to come, the feeling that was just mentioned in Wolf Spirit Radio, Wolf Chat, that we're repeating. Yes, we are. We absolutely are. We also don't know, and I think I will go well to prove it, that they've had time travel technology for as long as there has been us on this planet. Us, this race of people. And they are constantly tweaking and twerking things. So it'll change. It'll come back. You'll forget time. You'll remember time. Time is one of the constructs of the 4 rules of Taoism. 4, again. Time is one of the first ones. Time that we are stuck in. They made time for us as another box to put us in. We are trapped. We are stuck. We are seeing the same things repeat. Even in their history books, it is the same thing repeating: the violence, the corruption, the rise and fall of empires, the rise and fall of meteors, asteroids, booming sounds. These things come in cycles. Now in Canada we have one of the HN forms of virus that has spread to humans. I've called it the virus of the apocalypse before. I've talked about it. And it's here. We don't have to wait. There is no 4th right. There is 4th right. They say that word's to be honest. It isn't. It has nothing to do with honesty, that word. It has nothing to do with honesty. For some of us that are spending time looking in instead of looking out, that have decided that we no longer need things. And many of us are suffering. I think all of us here are suffering right now. For the ones of us who have empathy left, that can feel pain, and surprisingly enough, many no longer have the currency to pay attention, because attention does not need to be paid. It is here. You are aware, or you are not. You are not. There is no 2 states of this. We will talk about all of the ways that we've had these things used against us. And again, it's only Wolf Spirit Radio and Turtle Island News that will get the entire story. Everyone else will have to come here and download the archives, or they will miss some of it. But of course I will repeat a lot of things, because we learned by this. We learned by the sounds and frequencies, and hopefully my voice carries enough resonance to counteract the words that I have to use in English, because English was made to trap us. It is another box, and a filthy one at that. Those of us feeling pain right now, know that you're not alone. Know that you're absolutely not alone, nor have you ever been. You are part of the infinite all. The source, if you wish. Although source is another contained S word. We should probably use something else. Just like ascension is Zion. And something rather filthy to begin with. Ascend. Think about it. These things that we've been forced to listen to repeatedly. Soothsayers who come out and who are actually still propelling the exact same thing that has entrapped us. I'm hoping to present some ways to get out of that. Get out by getting inside, looking at ourselves. Without the S's, of course. Now, many of us, again, experiencing pain, suffering. I won't call it illness, although I think that S is exactly what we're feeling. But how I want to look at it as karma. Karma right here, right now. It, of course, has lots to do with your past, all your people that have come before you, that have set up a resonance in your body. And a lot of people are being activated right now. Active. Faded. We are coming out. We are feeling these things because we are in this time feeling what the planet is feeling all the things that the cosmos is feeling. We are wrapped and stuck in this time space that they have kept us prisoner in for far too long. We are so much more than this thing. What I'm experiencing now is not an illness, and I am not this illness. This thing that my body feels, and maybe your body feels it on different levels, as pain and suffering that has been given to each and every single one of us sitting here in the physical body. If you're not sitting in it, well then, maybe you get to float off. Why are you still here? Maybe they experience other things, the non-physical sentient beings around us. Maybe they're here to protect us. Maybe they live by the same rule we live by, where we have to all change, or none of us change. But I won't use the word ascension for it. We do not want that which they have provided us in this whole new agey filth. We don't want it. We don't want it. And it's a really good point Trump brought up. Even people who don't believe in psychic communication practice it with animals without knowing it. Of course they do. Animals don't understand English. Or they wouldn't understand the languages that we use. They can understand every single language. You can communicate with another animal that is, far from you, where humans speak different languages, and the animal still communicates to you. Like I've said before many times, when you walk in a room and you understand the atmosphere in the room, what is the atmosphere? You can't see it, but you know it's there. It's always there. It has to be there. It is just what we are. We use our senses, our eyes to see. But our eyes see almost nothing. Almost nothing. Our skin may see more than our eyes. Our stomach feels more vibration than our eyes. If I hit my hand and cut myself, I feel the pain in my hand, but it's not my hand that's feeling the pain. It's my brain that is telling my hand to react to this pain. We wake up in the morning and think of all the things that we have to do. We feel pain. We feel sometimes suffering. We worry. Worry. What does worry do? Worry sets up a vibration in your body. And we talk about these things over and over again. People spend more time talking about worry than they talk about almost anything else. The precursors of what might happen. Worrying about what might happen sets up that to happen if enough people worry about it. That's why when I said Fukushima is a mirror, I really meant it. It is showing us. And we, being part of this infinite all, feel what everything else is feeling. Whether you have an enemy or not, know that that enemy is in your head. That person you hate, somebody else loves that person. Someone else, that's their best friend. Someone looks up to that person. When you go into yourself and look at that image of that person in your head, you have two problems. You have the external person, but the biggest problem is the image in your head. I'm not saying that you have to be friends with everyone. That's impossible on this lifetime, unless you truly work at it. You would have to see them as you see yourself. But of course we barely see ourselves. We see this ego thing that is in our head that experiences pain and anger and terror and torture and karma. These are still things set up with us. And I'm not sure if I believe in the lifetimes lived over and over again, but I realize by our actions we live through the exact same experience over and over and over again until our bodies can no longer take it. We have dreams about it. We have fantasies about it. We talk about it. And then it manifests as physical suffering. And then either we pay attention to it, and sometimes we pay attention too late. Pay attention. Sometimes we give it no awareness. And if we don't become aware of it and look at it, it can be too late. And then we die. We're seeing so many quick deaths. Children, adults, all over the world. What we are seeing now is the death, and it's happening to animals and plants and humans. I don't know if it's happening to non-sentients. I don't know if it's happening to all sentients, whether we see them or not. But we are definitely seeing them with our sight. So why don't we, for a moment, just not look at that. Just stop for a minute. I already feel better. Sit comfortably in your chair. You don't have to sit cross-legged if you don't want to. You don't have to know a certain language to do this. You don't have to follow a certain kind of religion to do this. As a matter of fact, I hope you don't. Because these are all controlling mechanisms that want you to learn in the way they want you to learn. That were set up by beings so much older than us and that never helped us. They always wanted this earth, our energy, and they're feeding on it still, or there would not be so much violence here. And if you wonder about the violence, let's think of something simple that I will go into later, but think about when a knife and a fork was first used. Know that most cultures on this planet, ancient ones, use their hands to eat, sometimes a spoon. What is all this stabbing and cutting do to our souls? It's a simple thing. Is it a good thing? We have been set up. We have been made stuck. We have been absolutely cubed, boxed with the 4, with the 8. 4 on the bottom, 4 legs to stand. You don't need 4 legs to stand. Sometimes people call them the 4 pillars, and most religions have 4 pillars. You sit on the floor, sit on the ground. We don't do that. We don't do it. We stab, we cut. And the first human beings who used those knife and fork are the same ones who have 10 and 12 and multiples of numbers at their dinner table of different kinds of knives and forks. Royals, they used it. It's supposed to be more civilized. Civil. Civ. Think of sieve. Draining. It's draining. And then we took up that practice. We, our race of human beings, we use it. We used it. Trying to be like them. Because they had money, and we were told we had to pay attention now. That they had some other way. Some better way. Be like them. Be like Animal House, where the pigs end up walking on 2 legs and becoming the humans that they rebelled against. Revolt. Revolting. Revolution. Revolving. See how they've been used against us? And I'm not saying give up anything. I'm not judging any race or any people. We have been used against us. And I realize my own people have hated. We have a hate that has given the karma that I am suffering from. You guys have heard, and I realize all the family I'm listening to right now, and our family, have heard me rant against the stupid white people. I don't say it that way. But, I am not just blaming the stick that hit my people, or the hand of the other brown person that was used against us, or the controller that was sitting, working for the rich people that told the other guys to do this, or the royals who told the other guys that they had to make a certain production, and it went downhill. If you blame one entity, one being, know that you are blaming all of us, and because we can't get over it, if we do not get over it, none of us gets to change. None of us gets to go past this. We all stand together, or we, as just pieces of the infinite all, die. Or even worse, we come back to this filth and suffering again. Sucks. Uck. Trapped by 2 serpents on either side is the uck. Unk. See where I'm going with this? You guys are going to love this, I swear to God. So, we learn to love. Or we learn to die again. How many times we got to learn that lesson? Maybe we've only learned it once. Maybe all of our history is a lie. Everything we've ever heard, everything we've ever read, everything we think we know, even see with our eyes, is an utter, complete lie. What if this is the only time in history we've really hated each other? What if all the past is not true? What if the karma we are told that we are carrying isn't true because we've never done this before? Not me, not you, not our ancestors, none of it. So, when I look inside myself, and I ask you to sit comfortably and close your eyes if you want. Breathe deeply and relax for a minute. Look at your pain or your anger right now. Look at it. Where is it? Is it in your head? Focus on your head. Your brain, if you want. Is it there? Be aware of whatever this pain, this suffering is. The things that are working in your brain right now. Just be aware of it. Don't judge it. Don't even try to stop it. Just look at it. Give it your awareness. Look at it with your inner eye. Look at that place and see what it is. Doesn't matter. Don't go back in time. Look at what's happening to you right now. What do you feel? What do you see? The more you get quiet and look inside, and you can do that and still listen, you'll find that thing start to slip away. If it's a person, a specific entity that you are angry with, look at it. You will notice it disappears because that is not the entity. The entity is somewhere else. Someone else loves it. The feelings of worry and anger. Look at it. Be its friend. Pretend you were talking to me and you were telling me, Tracey, I'm hurt right now, or I'm afraid right now, or I'm in so much pain right now, I'm suffering right now, and I'm listening to you. I'm not judging you. I'm not trying to look at my watch and hurry up. I'm not saying, you know what, this is going to come back because you're going to do it again, or I'm going to help you this one time, but I'm so sick of helping you. Do that for yourself. Be the friend you need. And watch that pain, that anger, that sadness, that self-doubt just fade slowly. Now you can do this exercise at any time. Stay with it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, a couple hours. The more you do that, the easier it will be. And you'll notice that those things that you're feeling and hearing in your head are in your head. They are you. They're not external. Nothing is being done to you. You, my darlings, are doing this to yourself. You are causing this right now, right here. You could choose not to cause that to yourself. Even your pain. You could choose not to. It gets easier. And it doesn't always go away, but you'll find that it lessens. It lessens. It's easier. And the more you look at it, you'll find that your body just starts to relax. As you breathe in, I want you to picture the sun. Bright, warm, glowing. Breathe in that warmth. The warmth that some of you say you hear in my voice. Bring that in. It's what we like the most. It's what we like the most in each and every one of us. We like warmth. We like happy stories. They haven't taken that from us. We still love a happy ending. Breathe that warmth in. Let it go to that place that there is any suffering in your body. And as you breathe out, release that. release that pain. Release that anger. Release the worry and the self-doubt and everything that is holding you back. Know at this moment what you are truly looking at is the thing that I think most religions started off talking about. Perhaps not all, but what they should be about anyway. All spiritual teachings should be about this. Although Spirit, UL, Spirit L, Ancient God, and bringing in the demons. We're looking at something else right now. We're looking at a quiet place where the infinite all resides. The place of the goddess energy, the God energy that resides within all of us. As you breathe in, I want you to breathe in that light. Feel it not just going to you though, going to all of us. Because here there is no time, there is no space, there is no now. Now is fake. And a no, and a W. W is interesting. Or an ow with an N. There is none of that. That is true. That is false. There is no such thing. It does not exist. Feel this light go to your heart. And not just touch your heart. But as you breathe in, feel it fill your heart and expand your heart. Feel the infinite space around your heart. And breathe out any negativity you have there, any pain you have there, any stories or illusions you have left there. Breathe in and let this energy expand to all sentient beings. Send it to each other. And breathe out all that we don't need. And we have never needed these things. I want us to do the breathing with the 5 channels. The 3 channels. We'll look at the 3 right now. 3 is a beautiful number. How you do this for people who are listening for the first time. You take your right hand and close your right nostril. Breathe in deeply through your left nostril. This time I want you to take that energy, feel it filling the entire right side of your body. As you breathe out, take your hand, cover your left nostril. Expel anything that your body doesn't need. Let it just go. Do this 3 times. As you're doing it, again, breathe in that light, that warmth. Feel it fill you. As you exhale, release all things you don't need. Any anger, any sadness, any worry, just let that go. Breathe in deeply and slowly. And breathe out everything you don't need. After you do that 3 times, rest for a moment. Keep breathing in and out slowly. Let your body relax. Let anything that you're holding in the right side of your body just release. You don't need it. Don't hold on. Whatever's blocking you, just release that. Feel this warmth, this energy fill you. Next, close your left nostril with your left hand. You can use your ring fingers, but whatever. Breathe in very slowly from your right. Feel the energy come up your left channel. Breathe out anything you don't need. This we will do 3 times again. So breathe in through your right. Breathe out through your left. Anything that you are holding on to, anything that is blocking you, anything that makes you feel unloved or unlovable, just release that. This is all the pain of attachment here. Things that you are holding on to that you no longer need. It's time to let those go. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out. Let that go. Feel the clearing and the warmth and the relaxation. When you breathe in this time, think of your center channel from the base of your spine to the top of your crown. Breathe in that energy and let it fill you. All of your self-doubt, everything you use to judge yourself, let that go. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out deeply and slowly. Everything that you've held on to judge everyone else by, release that too. Sit in this calm, cool place. This warm place. This silent place. Allow it to fill you and relax you. Know that you can do this and clear your channels at any time. Focus on your heart again. Feel that spaciousness. You know, a lot of people talk about this as where you feel nothing, or it's not nothing. It's a lot. Sorry guys. See? My channels are so cleared, it decided to let it go for me. Our bodies are meant to work like this, you know. We are not meant to suffer. Even though so many religions tell us that we are here to suffer, that we have to do some sort of retribution thing for some sin, but for missing the target we have to pay for all eternity. I say no. I say that is a lie, and I am sick of that lie. So sit and relax, and please feel free to join me tomorrow, where I will have part 2 of Decoding the Matrix. Let me play some music for you now. Have a wonderful day.